Yep, she runs. What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. As for me, I'm a little under the weather right now, so I may sound a little congested. It happens. I figure I'll make this video anyways because we got some stuff we need to get into. But before we do that, a word from our sponsor, me. If you find value in the content I provide and want to support the channel, there's a simple way to do so that won't cost you a dime. Just take a moment, like right now, to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on future uploads. Also, throughout this video, if there's something I mention or address that resonates with you, feel free to hit the like button and leave a comment down below. By doing these things, you're not only showing your support, but also sending a sacrificial offering up to the YouTube algorithm gods to let them know that you appreciate content like mine and want to see more, not just from my channel, but from other creators in this niche as well. Please understand that your small gestures go a long way in helping us grow and continue to bring you valuable content. Your support is appreciated and it motivates us to keep improving and delivering the best content possible. With that out of the way, just want to show clear, empty mag, chamber is empty. All right, we're good. I just wanted to make a quick follow-up video on the PDP. Since the last time I posted about it, I made a few changes and I wanted to kind of give an update on how those changes have been working for me and if they were worth the time and the money. As the title of this video may have already given it away, yeah, it was all worth it. The Talon grips, let's get into the Talon grips first. I really like them so much that I'm actually thinking about putting them on some other firearms that I have. I don't know, but it's really grown on me. The extra bits that were falling off kind of stopped, so whatever that's left as of today is pretty much how it's gonna be for a while until, you know, they all get worn out and it's time to change it. But so far, it really feels comfortable. Just gripping the PDP like this with this texture on, just not feeling plastic in my hand. I don't know, it's just doing something weird, like in a good way, and I really like this. Since I've installed, I guess glued this to my gun, I've put about 200 rounds, and you can tell right over here that some of it is moving a little bit, and there's some extra bits that used to be in this area that are gone by now because that's the spot that makes contact with this section of my hand. So it's kind of like expected, but you can also see, I'm not gonna say peeling off, but it's moving. All right, listen, it's not perfect. I wasn't expecting it to stay in place considering the texturing on the PDP. It's not a flat surface where you can get, I guess, equal contact all around. There are some, you know, those little raised pyramids. I think you might be able to pick up on that here. So they're not flat enough for the Talon to make even contacts throughout. So there are some raised bumps and stuff like that it kind of has to work around. So, but so far, I really like this. It's a very good balance. It's not too aggressive, but it's grippy enough and comfortable enough for you to, I guess, punch out and go to work. If you know, you know. I read some comments, some funny comments. I'm guessing they know something I don't, because I think the first one was like, okay, once they fall off, try the handle it grips. And then somebody else commented, and then once the handle it grips, or handle it grips, I guess that's what the name is. Once they fall off, try the whole grips. That's when I was like, okay, whoa, stop it. Stop it right now. I don't have anything against Hogue. Hogue, if you're watching or ever come across this video, it's not you, it's me. I added hockey tape around my CZ P10F. It changed the shape of the grip, and I was immediately aware of it. I was like, yeah, maybe I put too much on it. So I may have to back out some of those rolls just to cover the, you know, those spikes just enough and then not affect the shape of the grip overall. Like, I'm very sensitive to stuff like that. So when I see whole grips, it's just like, whoa. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent here. Back to the PDP. In my last video, I was talking about how the slide was struggling with 13-pound spring. The slide was struggling to go back in the battery, but with the 15, it's been pretty consistent. Does it still struggle? Depending on what you're doing. All right, it's not perfect. Again, clearing one more time before I pull on the trigger. It's not perfect. I can pull right now, slide back, and you can see it kind of hangs right there. This is acceptable. And I think somebody actually warned me. It was like, yeah, that 15-pound will get will get soft. Pause. That 15-pound will get weak, and then and then, you know, maybe show some of those behaviors or whatever. But I'm pretty happy with this, and man, listen, it changed the whole dynamic of this firearm. When I say it's bussin', I mean it's bussin'. You know, it's funny, when I first picked up this firearm and I made my first review of it, or my first impression of the PDP, I guess my take, you know, ruffled a lot of feathers. Got people going, to say the least. I stand by what I said. I'll say it again. Walther, who is my friend. I have no issues with Walther. Walther, if you're watching this, let him know we are friends. If you don't know, Walther actually comments from time to time in my videos, especially like the PDP videos or whatever, which I appreciate. It's like, all right, cool. You know, you're not taking it personal, but for some reason, your customers or your loyal fanboys, they're ready to take me out for a take on my firearm, not theirs. Mine. You know, tell your boys to chill. I don't even know why, like, people assumed by me saying that it was snappy, they equated that to me not knowing how to shoot. Go figure, it's the internet. And my crazy self messed around and put out 2 videos where I was comparing, you know, the PDP to other guns and stuff like that. I even gave a disclaimer in the video that it's not super scientifical, and that also I wasn't trying to grip the gun to make up or anticipate its felt recoil. It was just a somewhat loose grip, just to let the gun do whatever, you know, under recoil, but grip it just tight enough so that it doesn't fly off my hand. But of course, you know, you got people, we all have opinions, so they had to voice theirs. They just couldn't help themselves. You had some letting me know that, well, it doesn't count, or this doesn't mean anything because there's still a variable, which is you. No kidding, dude. I thought for a second I was a vice. Or some kind of ransom rest. Thanks for bringing that up, Captain Obvious. Anyways, it was entertaining because it's like, wow, people will read what they want to read. If instead of reading the lines, they choose to read between the lines, you can't help them. That's their choice. Another one left a comment, which doesn't exist anymore because it deleted it afterward. And the funny thing is, it started with no offense, but when you have that disclaimer, no offense, but just prepare for offense. Just know some level of disrespect is about to be unleashed upon you. So yeah, he posted something about me needing to work on my grip or whatever, and I just simply said, yeah, you're right. That's actually the reason why I make those videos. I like to record what I'm doing at the range so that I can go back, watch it, see how I can improve or get better from there. I just happen to share with you guys. Not everything I do makes it onto the channel, just so you know, because I don't know, man, like with social media and stuff like that, you get access to like 15 seconds of someone's life, and I don't know how your brain just imagine or looks at those 15 seconds to think that, oh yeah, the little glimpse of their life that I just captured or saw is a good representation of the rest of their lives. I don't know how they come to those conclusions, but yeah, it is what it is. So he said that, I responded saying that, yeah, this is exactly why I make those videos. Somebody else commented and was like, oh, you know what, that's actually, you know, it's a nice way to respond to comments like these. Usually people, you know, just clap back, if you would. And then this guy came out of nowhere, man. It was like, nah, man, bump that. You meant what you said. You wanted to be disrespect. I mean, it went to town on dude. I was about to jump in like, yo, guys, break it off. And then I remember this meme. I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna let him cook. Because I try not to go back and forth with people in the comment section, but just another side note for you guys. It's all good, man. If you like the way Walther shoots straight out of the box, I'm happy for you, man. Run your 20-pound spring, run your 18. I run my 15. I have a spare 13. I'm sure there's some guys out there running 11-pound, 9. They can get away with it, whatever. It's not that deep, guys. But at 15, I think this is my sweet spot. With the 13-pound spring, my dot was not leaving the window. However, I noticed that the return is just simple physics. You don't have to be a gunsmith to understand that. With a softer spring, this is just how I understand it. With a softer spring, the slide will probably move a lot faster. All things being equal, same load, same shooting technique, whatever. With a softer spring, if it's already easy for you to just move it with your finger like that with little effort, the same is true for the load that you have on a firearm when you shoot. So the slide will move faster. Let's say we're comparing 11-pound to 15-pound. An 11-pound spring will not return just as fast because it doesn't have the same, for lack of a better term, that a 15-pound or 17 or 18-pound spring will have. What I noticed with the 13-pound was when the slide was returning after it reciprocated, I found myself kind of waiting for the slide to go all the way back and settle before I can fire my next round. It was almost like I'm tracking everything that's happening, like it's moving fast back but slow as it returns. But with the 15-pound spring, it is so well balanced as it goes back and then returns forward. Man, it's just a joy to shoot, man. It shoots almost just as soft as my ported FN, which to me is a high compliment. I haven't gone to the range without it. Like, I keep it in my bag and I almost find excuses to just shoot it. That's how good this thing is running right now. So yes, it's bussin'. And it was busting so much so that I got myself some Floyds Custom Baseplate. These are the +6 baseplates. I got 2 of them. And I also picked up the Floyds Custom Magwell that you can see right there. Man, yeah, it's some excellent work. All right, Floyds, if you're watching this, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what you're doing. And this right here, this might be one of the most aesthetically pleasing logo I've seen in the firearm industry. Very simple, but you know, it's just got some flair. I like that. The one thing that I think I still have to get done with these mags, I'm still using the same springs, the OEM springs from Walther. As you can see right here, I'm rocking and it's not locking back. The OEM spring it's just because it's running all the way down here now, so they don't have the same power to push the follower up and engage the slide stop, slide release. So there's that. Oh man, I'm making a mess here, and I just cleaned this table, and I'm doing this again. Anyways, so for it to lock back, I have to, yeah, didn't work that time, work this time. So I'll just get stronger springs and deal with this. Should be good. I really like it the way it is right now. I think I need to write a book, like a note to self, my Walther PDP starting pack. Upgrades to get right away. I've heard a lot of great things about the, is it PDT, DPP, the name of that performance trigger thingy. I'll probably put it on the screen. I've seen some PDP pros at the range, but I intentionally never wanted to get my hands on one or try the trigger. I didn't want to ruin that experience for myself. And what do I mean by that? I didn't want to try the trigger on the PDP Pro, feel like I got the wrong gun and then I have to go get that. I wanted to try it out for myself, get it installed. So, hey Walther, just so you know, I'm open and willing to share for you. So if you're watching this, do something. You know, just in case they don't believe that we're friends, you know, let's make it official. Hook a brother up, all right? I love this thing. Forget everything I said before. Anyways, I'm just kidding, of course. But I'm also not kidding. So if you do hook me up with with that trigger, I'll give it a shot. And my honest opinion on it. Now, I wanted for this review to be, or I guess this update, to be 100% positive. Last week, I was supposed to shoot this video, but something weird happened as I was prepping to get things together, get my thoughts together, set up my stuff, and start recording. Something funny happened, so I was more worried about the firearm itself than putting out contents just for the sake of it, or to get some traction on something that honestly is bound to happen to any firearm that's exposed, or I guess put under a certain level of neglect. All of these things require maintenance. Even the magazine requires some maintenance. All right, you're gonna have to clean it up at some point. Rust can start building up depending on the brand you're dealing with and how you maintain your stuff. One thing that I was doing personally that I've never done with any other firearms, and I don't even think I ever brought this up, I never lubed it, I never cleaned it. And I'm sure you guys are probably wondering, but why would you do that? Well, for the same reason that your daddy, Grand Thumb, dunks them into a bucket of mud or whatever and then freezes them, okay? Science. And also because I can. It's just that simple. So last week, I think my round count, and that's another thing too, like I'm not trying to stat pad or present myself as a high round count shooter. Is that what they call them? High round count shooters. I try to go to the range at least twice or 3 times per month because I have a life outside of this. With the mods that I've made, you know, changing the springs, the grip texture, and I've added the Floyds parts, I've put another 480-ish round. So I'm close to like 1,500 rounds or just a little under that. I actually started to use this thing as my bedside gun. That's just how much I love it. I'm not even talking about accuracy or how easy it is to shoot. This thing is, it almost shoots itself. Using this as my nightstand gun, I picked this up, wanted to prep it before I go to bed. I'm dropping the mag, working on my presentation before I go to sleep so that if something happens in the middle of the night, I can pick up where I left off. And hopefully, you know, being groggy and all that stuff, I can still find my dot from that first punch out to be ready to go to work. As I'm doing that, I was pulling on the trigger and you can see this almost false wall. Actually, let me write this. This false wall that I'm hitting, it's basically the trigger bar getting in contact with the safety plunger right there. But the actual wall is right here. And then break, right? I brought it up in my previous videos and somebody was like, man, how dare you? Had the nerves to complain about a Walther trigger. Like, who are you, dude? Like, who are you? Again, I wasn't talking about his gun, I was talking about my gun. It was my experience, not his. You know, loyalty will have you do things, you know, you're not really you when you're way too loyal or loyal to a fault. But anyways, so it was doing this. Not having cleaned this firearm, not having lubed it ever, this right here got worse. Watch this video. So what's essentially happening is as the trigger bar comes in contact with the safety plunger wouldn't, I guess, move out of the way or sit flush to let me keep going. So instead, the trigger bar will come in contact with the safety plunger, and that safety plunger was probably getting stuck or coming in contact with a burr or whatever, like something just weird and greedy was holding onto it and wouldn't let it go. So as I was pulling on the trigger, you could see the slide rock back as well. So to remediate that, clear. This is YouTube's favorite part. I actually just put a drop of oil, which I don't like to do. In these channels, the striker channel and the safety plunger, I usually just like for it to be clean and dry. I don't like to put stuff like lube or things like that because it will just get gunked up. So I did it against my own will. I had some kind of stick, like one of my punches or whatever, and I was just working this thing and trying to actuate it, and I could feel it. What comes in contact with the safety is right here. It's this part that comes in contact with the safety plunger right there. As you actuate the trigger, it pushes this thing out of the way. This is a serious question. So if you're out there and you know your what, by the way, all you Walthers aficionados, this is your time to shine. Can someone tell me what this, and I'm not being sarcastic, like this is straight up, what is this second arm on the trigger bar for? I was trying to figure out what this bar was coming in contact with. So the closest thing that I found that may actually explain or point to where that second arm is coming in contact with is this area right there. Because this joint right here was shiny. Is it? Dang, it's almost magnetized. Are you serious? Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked here, but yeah, this is acting like a magnet. Not sure why. But yeah, so this section right here, I'm wondering if this second arm is actually coming in contact with the slide itself, and if it is, what's the reason? I'm really curious to find out. So Walther, my friend, if you're watching, enlighten me. So yeah, I put a dab of oil here and started to work that trigger again. Seems to be good. Gotten a little greedy, so I have to clean up. That's the next step. But all in all, I got it back to work. That was my little non-scientifical test. This may have not happened to you after putting 20,000 rounds of 187 grain ammo in 15 minutes. Good for you. I'm happy for you, buddy. You got a solid one. All right. You should make a video and share with the rest of us who had a different experience with this firearm. I think that there's no perfect firearm. That's another thing that really drives me crazy when people leave. They get in the video, they watch the video, and the best comment that they can come up with is, this is the best firearm or polymer frame firearm in the game today. I try to stay away from these things, and that's why even like making videos about the best for to me, it's very subjective. All right, what you think is like top shelf may not be top shelf for your wife, your girlfriend, your son, your co-worker, your best friends, whatever. It's really subjective. When I read comments and people are going off like, this is the best fire, I'm like, based on what? It's not like we had a vote. Okay, we had a vote. The entire country voted, the entire world voted, and we reached the consensus that this is above all else, or whatever firearm we're running. If you're a Smith & Wesson guy and think that the M&P is all that in a bag of chip, that's good. But claiming or putting it out there that it's, you know, the best thing since sliced bread and nothing else compares to it, it's very subjective. Somebody will find an issue with an M&P, Glock. Speaking of Glocks, I don't own Glocks. I don't like the grip angle. Does it help in shooting? Yes. I actually have a video, that comparison video that I alluded to earlier. I'm actually shooting a Glock 19 in that, and I think it achieved the lowest muzzle flip out of all the firearms, including my Compt FN and some other guns in that video. The lowest muzzle flip. I got it with that 19X, you know, for obvious reason. If you're gonna kent your recoil mitigation, is almost kind of like intuitive at that point, as long as you're doing everything you're supposed to do correctly. The Gen 5 triggers, I actually like them. I don't see any issues with that. But, you know, people will, yeah, I love my Glocks, but the trigger sucks. Okay. You know, that's kind of like how it works. Hey, I've done it with the PDP. I'm like, man, you guys are talking about it. Man, this thing is snappy. Deal with it. You know, it is what it is. It happens. Whoever said the Glock trigger sucks, you know, get a Johnny Glock trigger or get some kind of custom work, some aftermarket trigger, and then they're happy. We all have our preferences, okay? What I like doesn't have to be necessarily what you like. The way that this is shooting right now is 100 times better than when I first picked it up. If I were to buy another PDP, I will open up my Note to self, look at the PDP starting pack, and do the same thing again. All right, until I get it to where I like for my firearm to be when it comes to shooting and handling and all that stuff. But anyways, that's about it, folks. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Leave your feedback, your thoughts, anything you disagree with, anything you would like to share, any information, insight that you may have that I'm not privy to. Let your boy know. When I talk, I can't believe I just did this. There's this one guy, that's another thing that really drives me crazy. Let me come back for a second. When you put out there that Walther resolved this issue, I mean, I'm not saying you need to prove to me that you have reliable sources to make such statements, but this one guy actually gave even dates, like models made from this year to that year shouldn't have that problem. And it was like from 2022 and forward, they don't have that problem. I'm sitting there looking at the, I'm sitting there reading the comments like,
you sure about that? You sure about that?
Don't even get me started on the steps that you have to go through to replicate this. My goodness, like I had comments, you know, some people really were honest about not understanding what the problem was. Some actually thought I was advocating for the firearm to go off like this, which wasn't a point that I was trying to make. The video is specific with steps shown in there, but still people took it out of context, which is amazing. This is what makes the GunTuber space interesting. People will choose to see what they want to see. They will choose to hear what they want to hear. I'm only responsible for what I say and show. I am not responsible for how you process the information, but I'm always open to discussions and conversations. With that said, I'm gonna wrap this up. This video is a little longer than what I expected. I'm actually working on a different kind of content that I will be putting out. So catch the next video after this one. I may upload it back to back or maybe the next day or whatever. But yeah, catch you later. Wow.